Greetings everyone, hello and welcome back once again to our glorious let's play of the military attention mod. And in this case, what we have right now is of course a destroyed harbor area of Manola. And yeah, we're gonna switch things around a bit here because I need to focus on what's important and focus on important defenses that we have. So ships are fine, but ships rather take a long time to rebuild and also get to places, whereas the cannons of course stay in place and we can repair them once trade routes have been established. And trade routes we need, but what do we need the trade routes for? Well, for defense that works. Now we have the mounted guns with the basic ammunition so far, right? These are working, but if I want to get my cannon towers working, we need shell ammunition, and if I want to have my big batties going, we need bomb ammunition. These are the two most important things I need right now. The problem with the fire tower is that it requires gas, and it needs a specific gas. It needs Arctic gas. It doesn't need helium gas, unfortunately. So we would have helium in Manola, but it doesn't work this way, right? There's no processing plant or anything like that. So we need to, put aside the idea of using fire towers. This is just not gonna work out. But we need, anyway, we do have steel ships mostly now, so you know the fire towers are not doing that much damage anymore. So my idea is that we get the shell ammunition and the bomb ammunition going forth from now on. These are the most important ones. The cool thing is we have a ridiculous amount of shell ammunition already available, and we're producing the bomb ammunition already as well. It just needs more dynamites, it seems. Are we really running out of dynamites? We do have 2 boosted ones, and yes, we do not have enough of them. So I do need to, first of all, push more dynamites. Let's have them over here. Those are gonna get electricity, and we will need to have a warehouse here as well for all of these juicy productions there. My next battle cruiser comes out just on time because I would like to... Oh, this is also a bit strange, right? The battle cruiser needs basic ammunition. So this is just all over the place, right? We have the bombs, we have the shell, we have the basic ammunition. So unfortunately for the advanced battle cruisers, we do need to have our own factory that does need to produce the basic ammunition. So let's get this going. We still have the space here, surprisingly enough, and get the basic ammunition going again. This needs then the lead and the gunpowder. Both of them we have in ample storage, right? And we should just make sure that we really have all of this working out, because we need to have a steady supply of these things in. Now let's try to further optimize this by moving my factories a bit and moving my trade union so that we can get the trade union in here somehow. These factories are so massive. Come on. Now, only now. It's a problem. Okay, this actually works out. I move the weapon factories over here. This gives me a bit of room here to move my heavy or my ammunition factories over here, you know, so that all of them can be affected by the trade union, together with my lead production, because we do have an item available here that I would like to use. And it's Faraz Al Sarami, of course, with the 50% productivity boost to any building close by. And since we have so much money right now, it's easy for us to just get more of these items here to boost my industry properly. Now this item is actually really important for us, and that's the medal winning producer. I'm gonna purchase this one right away. The fact is the grain farm, red pepper farm and the vineyards, boosting their productivity, and also produces extra champagne. We have a problem, ladies and gents. That is, I have no champagne production possible. We have no grapes in Sleepy Hollow. There is not a single feasible island close by that would have grapes, right? This one doesn't have it, this one doesn't have it, this one doesn't have it, this one doesn't have it. It's pretty crazy, honestly. There is exactly one island that has grapes available, and it's so fully fleshed out in defenses that it's probably not going to be able for me to actually take this over. Takeover cost would be also 65 million credits, so that's not going to happen, right? Where do we get the grapes from? The problem number 2 is also that grapes are something that I cannot import from the Docklands, so there's no way for me to push this production further. We could import champagne directly. This would require 18 export and import contracts though, which is just also far out of reach for me. So producing extra champagne out of grain farms that we can boost is a very cool thing for me. The problem though is that we consume a lot of space right now with potato farms and sheep farms, right? And that makes it not so easy for me to get a proper grain area going. So we need to start importing potatoes and wool. And look at that, we do need quite a bit. We have a total amount of 80 tons of wool right now. So that's 1,600 wool for a trade cycle. Why do we need that much? Well, for the workload, of course, that we're consuming still in huge demands. So, you know, for every ton of workload, we need to produce 2 tons of wool to have a surplus going as well. And don't forget, we also need the wool for the fur coats, right? Where we do have the item rolling here. So wool is really essential. Now, the potatoes is just as much, right? We need 1,600 tons of potatoes every 20 minutes for the trade cycle. But here something is that we do not have that huge demand for schnapps anymore, right? So it's not that much, but it's still a lot. Let's check it out. For 1,600 wool that we need to import, we need only almost 100 tons of horses. So that's almost nothing. In comparison, we need almost 1,000 horses for the 1,000 fur that we import, even though we don't need that much fur, right? But still. Now, that means I can use my horses to import 1,600 wool, and I can probably use my horses as well to import 1,600 tons of potatoes. By the way, we don't need to import the grain then, because I'm producing it, right? So let's get rid of the grain here and just start importing potatoes. And 1,600 potatoes only is 84 tons of sewing machines. So this is easy for me, right? The volume is huge, truly huge, but it's not a big deal, honestly, because we have the production going. What I still need is some more depots, and I cannot protect them. We are out of space, essentially. My Docklands could use them. By the way, we still haven't activated for us, so let's go ahead and do this to push my production here. And I still need to get a new trade route going between Sleep Hollow now and Manola. And this trade route will now get the materials that we basically need, and that is the shell ammunition, and then also bomb ammunition, right? Both of them. We will also probably and automatically transport some steel beams over to Manola, because we just basically need that from time to time. And probably also the weapons, right? Let's get all of this over to Manola. And we're using the Wild Pigeon, my white flagged cargo ship, for that. Now, this brings me to another thing that we need to do, and that is setting a minimum storage for the bombs. And I would like to say have at least 200 tons of bombs in Sleepy Hollow, right? So it should never go below that. It's not allowed. The same goes with the shell ammunition, because we need some for construction and of course also for protecting Sleepy Hollow, right? Because we consume it, of course. And I'm gonna say the same thing for my basic ammunition. And of course for weapons. 200 tons minimum. So that's about Pigeon doing all of that, right? The other ship that we have now, the trade route here, doesn't need the weapons anymore. In fact, we're just gonna go with coffee now. So we have a fully dedicated coffee trader, white flagged, so no harm here, right? But the problem is, of course, the volume is huge at this point. So we'll just see how we can properly do this. Probably by increasing my storage even further. I think it is taking everything. No, there's still room left, right? We have a total amount of 600 available. And let's push this one further now in Manola. That we have even more storage. So this is 800 tons now, and upgrading the harbor is the steel beams that are coming in as well. So with that, we should then have a nice amount of storage available. But the weapons are the important thing. Regarding the weapons, I would also like to start now using the... Hopefully I find it here. There it is, the monster gun, right? This needs reinforced concrete and advanced weapons plus windows. So I need to have another ship rolling, this one here with the white flag. So we are only operating with white flag ships at this point, which is very expensive because we need a lot of them. But it's worth it because we can have a safe trade. And now I can take some of my reinforced concrete, windows, and hopefully we have them, advanced weapons. Let's take 100 tons with us, right? To start the construction of monster guns in Manola as well. I really want to fortify this. I really don't want to lose Manola again. All right, regarding my ships, yeah, another battle cruiser. It's probably what I can go for right now. Now, importing potatoes and importing wool does give me one opportunity or one possibility of deleting all of my potato farms and all of my sheep farms, which just frees up a lot of space, right? And importing another 500 tons of hops for one cycle, which we can easily afford. I can also get rid of all of my hops plantations, and that is something I would like to do as well now. And it's all of these guys here. Don't need them anymore. That's a lot of beautiful space we can now use to build us a proper grain production area that uses the items to also get us champagne in. And I'm probably... Now comes the question of where we put all of this though, because we still need the horses. And I definitely also need to have now the grain. Yeah, it's probably going to be here. Alright, there we have it now, our grain production, and that's gonna be one massive grain production, because we have a couple of mechanics here that I really wanna talk about real quick, and that is number one, it's constrained, which needs to be, because we still need to make a railroad here, right? We need to get into this industry zone, and we need to get the railroad up here for another electricity area here, right? So this is number one. I just cannot spam these grain fields everywhere. The reason for that is that we are boosting this, and it needs access to an oil depot close by, right? This is why we need to have the rail here going, because all of these grain farms here use now the tractor barn in addition. We are also boosting them with the fertilizer silo, right? So that's two things that already double production, triple production, and then we got the items rolling. Item number one is now our beautiful medal winning producer that is boosting the grain farm by another 40%, which is going to be massive because we already have 300% productivity working here, right? And this is another 40%. We could also get another Faraz Al Zarami in here for another 50%. So I think this will be quite the powerhouse when it comes to grain. And yeah, in order to make this now fully work, let's also have upgraded warehouses on the edges, which is just going to be absolutely mandatory. And I'm also going to make all of this here upgraded, of course, when it comes to its road layout. The cool thing is this is kind of like a block system, so we can just take this one, right, and just copy this somewhere else to get another full area out of it. So this is the idea of it. Very good. We could further optimize this one probably by cutting off this area here, right, and just filling in those gaps here with more fields to make this work. Now, one more thing we need, and that's the fuel for the tractors. For the fuel, you need to have a fuel station. There it is, right? It has a radius. So this is the radius where it provides the fuel to. And these people here will then take it for the barns. So I'm going to have, I mean, we could also have it over here if I want to have another boosted area then. Makes sense now that I think about it. So I would like to have my fuel area up here, right? And we're just going to take now the railway from down here, where we already leave now our main track system, more or less. And then we are trying to move this one up here now. There's a freshwater source in between, but this is working out great. Just along this track, right? And then up here into industry zone number 3 that we have. By the way, this is not connected right now. Should probably make that connection. And then we're gonna move the trail all the way over here to that fuel depot. And here, I wonder why this one doesn't connect. Now it does. Alright, strange thing. With that, we got the fuel station. We can already activate it. It will consume oil to produce fuel, but only up to 20. So we're probably going to produce way too much fuel right away. So it will not consume that much oil, right? Because that's also not that great for us. Alright, let's get this going. That's the silo with the tractor barn. We're going to make this over here. Here. Yeah, basically the whole thing. Each one of these tractor barns consumes some steam motors, but we have plenty of them, right? Shouldn't be a big issue at all. This is extremely fun, honestly, to have a super utilized industry zone. Alright, they're getting the fertilizers in now. The problem is we don't have the fertilizers yet. This is where my other mod comes in. That's the feces recycling system. So we're using the dung that we're producing out of the public toilets to get them into a fertilizer fermentation factory now. This one actually needs a harbor area to produce fertilizers. Harbor area. Yeah, that's the primary concern I have. Let's just see if we can make this work here somehow. And there we have it. There is my access to a fertilization factory. This one takes the dung now and produces fertilizers out of that. It is, however, not electrified. No, will it be? It's too far away. But there's a depot we have electrified, which is nonsense. So I could move the depot down here and the fertilization up here. That should also work. Let's try this out. Oh, yes. Very good. Now we have it electrified. I'm just going to copy me some depots in here again. And this one's producing now 4 tons of fertilizer per minute, right? It's going to be quite nice for our production. That's definitely more than what we need, right? We need 2 out of all of the silos that we have up here now. Okay, so that's that. Next is the fuel. So this is one now waiting for the tractors. And while we wait for all of this, let's quickly jump back to Manola, because of course the clock for the next, or until the next attack comes in, is ticking. Let's unload our advanced weapons here and get the defenses rolling. So that's all of them here. Let's just also make sure that the basic ammunition factory works. And then we still need to have this one again. Or can we not overlap it? We can overlap it. Very good. That would have been very bad now. And get this one here for the shell ammunition now rocking. So this is what we need essentially for the cannon towers. Can I push a few more? There you go. Fantastic. Influence-wise, we're fine. And then we still need a bit of room for the monster guns as well. I think we need to wait for another trade. Yep, that gets the steel beams over. But then we can place at least 2 here that I would like to do. Yeah, safely hidden behind those cannon towers. So this will be quite devastating. And this needs then a 3rd ammunition depot that produces then the bombs over. By the way, we have the ammunitions here for none, actually, right? So I can switch this one to the bombs. There it is. To get the monster gun rolling, right? But I'm not doing it just yet. Pausing it. But we don't need the ammunition here anymore because, yeah, we don't need to have any cannon tower, any gun towers, right? Miss Hunt will have quite the treat once she arrives here once again. There's the train with the oil. So the fuel depot has reached its fuel. And there it is, the fuel being transported now to those tractor barns. The tricky thing is that every silo and every fuel factory needs to have its own road connection, right? That's a tricky thing here. And there's the first one now getting the tractor working. It's a really cool animation there. And this will be an extremely busy zone. He's delivering now and distributing the fuel, as long as there's fuel in his storage. There's the next one. Probably also really cool seeing it down here. Pretty noisy, I guess. And there are the tractors out there. Roaming the fields. And I think you can actually drive one of these. Yep. Which is even better. You can be a tractor driver in this game. Anno has it all. And what's even cooler is that we're cutting the grain. Literally, we're doing it, right? It's us cutting it right now. And there's also my fertilizers. Highly industrial grain farms. Perfect. Right now we're producing 90 tons of grain, by the way. And they're not even all utilized at the moment, right? There's still some of them waiting. That's a lot of grain. I will also need to upgrade my warehouses there again. With that, we're producing 6 tons of champagne passively. My current demand is 2 tons, so we do have a bit of room here to work with now. All of this was achieved. I'm very surprised how flawless this was. The only problem we now have is grain surplus. Where do we give it to? Where do we get it to? Right? Because I'm gonna have a full storage of grain now really soon. One way, of course, is to simply process it, right? We can have more flour mills. With that, we can have more bakeries. Bakeries produce the bread, but also chocolate. Chocolate, we're producing 7 tons passively right now, and we do need 5 tons, so we can supply our current investor population with that. The downside is that we're producing a lot of bread, and this bread we need to get somewhere. The upside is that we consume a lot of flour, and with that a lot of grain. We need to do this. So more bread and chocolate it is. Ultimately, bread is something that has a pretty good value at the Docklands. We have 4 more licenses available, so I would like to continue expanding my Docklands. And yes, they look catastrophically bad right now. But I don't care, right? I want to get the things going here. Now, the important thing is that we endlessly dump bread. Bread is, though, quite valuable, as I've said, and that means that, yeah, its value will only go up, and that means that we can import quite a bit with the bread production that we have going now. The first one I would like to use is cement. Well, that's actually not really the main reason, but brass is a good reason, and brass needs to have me imported 1404 cement before we can actually use brass. So let's get this condition here unlocked, and 1400 or cement. Sounds like a lot. We have 0 right now, which is great, and we have a total amount of 1650 maximum storage. I'm actually gonna pause my limestone quarry here so that we're not getting any limestone in, and the next time Tobias comes in, we can actually unlock brass and then start importing brass as much as possible with the bread we have. And we could also use gold to get this one in. Look at that. Gold has the same unlock condition, 1404 cement to get this going. The same goes with pearls, and the same goes with lead. So this is a nice dumping zone here for me to get rid of bread. Now, we do produce a surplus of 1,000 tons of bread we need to export at this point to make sure we're not capping. 1,000 tons at least. Let's also get us a bit more hops in, right? And with this, we are closing in. We have 800 tons that we are using right now. But once we unlock the gold and the brass, we will have enough, room to export bread for sure. So that's just one of them going now. I continue with something completely different in the meantime, and that is pushing more coffee plantations and also another trade unit. So we still can afford it. And here we do have now someone like Al-Zarami once again, boosting all of my coffee productions here, coffee plantations by 50%, right? And that is exactly what we need to break even with our current coffee production. That sits at 35. My demand is at 25. So we meet demand right now, but yeah, with only a slight surplus. We also have our coffee roasters here that are already boosted by Faras. And in addition, I can also get now coffee sommelier in another 30% that we boost them. And by the way, this is the amount of windmills we need right now to process all of that grain that we produce. Right? In addition to the breweries, of course, that also need it with the malt houses. But in that case, that's enough right now. We could electrify them. I don't have the means for that right now. What I still need to do though is I need to get fire stations going here. And I will also need to get police stations going here. There might be a ride sooner or later. Let's have 2 police stations to control all of them. Also kind of like looks beautiful. All the way here at the end of my city. Brings me again to city development. We haven't touched this one in a while now with all the optimizations and industries. Let's push a lot of farmers. We have a lot of planks to consume. It's also here. These guys here do not want to upgrade because they missed the cemetery. Alright, that's something we can easily do. We do have the city cemetery now from the artisans that we can use. Yeah, let's have one here. And probably another one here for these guys. What I lack is actually bricks, so we'll need to work out something there. Also, quick jump again to Manola. Monster gun we can build. And we should be doing this. The first one is out. And now we can also activate our ammunition depot. Which, for some reasons, misses electricity. It doesn't state that anywhere here, that it needs that. It also doesn't state that in the input storage. This one doesn't need it. This one needs electricity. Interesting. So we cannot supply the monster gun right now with ammunition. The only way of doing this is getting the dam project going in Manola. This, however, requires artistas that we don't have. And 4,000 artistas, that's a steep requirement. So in order to properly protect Manola, I'm also going to send some battle cruisers over now. In fact, I'm going to send most of my battle cruisers now to Manola to further protect that island. Whereas in Sleepy Hollow, we can just continue with monster guns because here we can actually supply them, right? And that should be way enough. I can still build 2 more monster guns here, and then we also have all these cannon towers. And I continue with the remainder of my farmers here in Sleepy Hollow Center, and with that we are running out of farmers now, which is a good thing for me. Alright, and with that we got 6,000 workers now that we can upgrade. I need the bricks for that somewhere. With all of the additional boosting, we now have another ton of champagne coming in every minute, very good. And also my chocolate is sitting at 12 tons now, so we have a surplus here, comfortable one. Though of course, sooner or later we'll run out of it. The only other way of actually pushing more bricks at this point is importing clay. Clay we find all the way over here. And I might be using my horses again because the ratio is really comfortable. And let's start with importing some 500 clay that we can have. And I just need to have them in my brick factories and just add a few more. There's also still the matter with investors. So what we can see now is that the champagne is in and the chocolate is in. So that's 2 very powerful things on our way to skyscrapers. Next in line for the happiness, we need the members club. And also down here, we can now go ahead and activate the local mail. This will have quite an impact though. So let's activate it. It's getting me 37 coin per building then and 3 investors, which is just really nice overall. But I'm pretty sure we do not have enough local mail for this. Oh, actually we do. We are producing 47 tons. I mean, we're capped on local mail right now. And 47 tons, so we're still having twice as much available as possible. Carl, very nice. Thank you, 17,000. Alright, I'll take it. I guess he wants to get on good terms with us here. I could also try to get on better terms with Anne Harlow once again. It's not really that we need it, right? Oh, peace treaty, there it is. But it's nice to have the pirate on our side there somehow. Our Carl, that's right. We could probably go to alliance with him now, but I don't care. That's also the military score. Something is really fishy. I think the sea mines also count as military score. You can't, you know, explain this score any other way. She's actually more powerful than us in economy things as well, Miss Hunt. That's a huge surprise to me. Yeah, also Carl is slightly ahead of us when it comes to economy. But they're not attacking that often anymore, right? Because we have such a fortified area. Of course, taking anything here will be near impossible at this point. So she... Oh, look at Miss Hunt. Holy moly. That's quite a city that she has, full of investors and engineers. Taking this over would cost me 164 million credits. Just to put this into perspective. That's not gonna happen anytime soon. And she has so many islands at this point that she controls. Poor Hugo on the other side. He's not allowed to go to investors by default. Because he's anti-capitalism, right? And he still has a bank though. So yeah, we need to push a members club into the heart here of all the investors. The thing is, a members club doesn't really have a huge range. We still have the pub and the market here that I don't really need there anymore, since neither artisans nor engineers nor investors need it. And I don't see anyone else close by. So I can still try to push at least the market in here. Right, but it's not necessary. These guys have their own market, and with that we have a bit of room here. Should be enough to squeeze in a nice member club right next to the cemetery. Is that macabre? We could have it there anyway, once we have the bricks. And that police station also seems a bit out of place here, so let's get rid of it. Unload the bricks that are coming from Archie right now. Will help me. That's 150 tons of bricks that we can immediately unload. And this we can now use to build me that member club here, which is going to greatly increase the happiness of my investors, so they're almost content now. Also gives me some additional coin. Local mail, there we have it, also fully satisfied now. And let's continue with upgrading a few more peeps to engineers, especially here around University and Power Station. We have lots of people that we can upgrade, especially also my workers. Here, here, down here.
Conditions are verging on the not worth the time.
And then we're out of bricks again. One thing that I notice also is, of course, with the fuel station now, is that we're slightly losing oil, right? It's not that much, but it is decreasing. So we will need to push our only oil power plant that we have right now to get more oil out. It's the only way. We have no other source of oil at the moment available to us. So far so good. I think this was a very great progress that we've made, especially to our economy, with all the details that are working in the background to make such a big city functional. I love this game still when you look at all of that. And yeah, we continue in the next episode of Anno 1800 Mega City. Stay tuned.